Welcome to episode 126, Eike Batista, The Biggest Four, 9 Lessons. This is an outline of episode 126. Lesson number 1, God gave me talent to make money.
Homem da Renaissance.
The Renaissance man is his father, who speaks 6 languages and was minister of mining in Brazil.
Só que na fila lá que Deus estava dando os dotes, ele deixou para mim, que foi o talento de ganhar dinheiro.
Lesson number 2, he is an inventor. At age 23, he built a crazy machine to mine gold in the Amazon.
He should have gone to the beach, right? Wrong. Instead, he decided to build a crazy machine in the middle of the Amazon. His instinct helped him to find a rich mine among more than 100 mines. To produce gold in the middle of the jungle, you almost need a military operation to supply food, water, energy, fuel. You need to put into practice a holistic view. So he put...
Lesson number 3, he is an innovator. He practices vertical integration and emphasizes efficiency. His 4 pillars of development: oil, mining, infrastructure, and logistics. Lesson number 4, he was the face of Brazil.
Until last year, Eike Batista was Brazil's brash multi-billionaire. A symbol of the boom years, he was worth $35 billion. He said he would make history by becoming the first Brazilian to be the world's wealthiest man.
The first ships are due to dock next year.
But what I want to do after is build hospitals, schools, universities in Brazil. You know, make it, because Brazil lack that area. We lost 1.5 generations of Brazilians during the difficult years.
Lesson number 5, Batista's dream is Brazil's dream.
Yeah.
So huge mines here and huge oil reserves here, right in the vicinity of this complex. 85% of Brazilian oil production is within a 150-kilometer radius. It's unbelievable. Right next door. Lucky.
Lucky? In fact, Batista has left little to chance. He started building 4 years ago because Brazil's booming economy needed a modern port. As the owner of iron mines, he wanted to control exports of his own resources. Around the same time, he also discovered huge oil reserves off the Brazilian coast.
We have, in Campos alone here, right in front, we have 5 billion barrels of oil.
Lesson number 6, his biggest problem, no trillion-dollar oil discovery.
This oil story is a trillion-dollar story, right in front of us here.
What do the offshore oil discoveries do for Brazil? What do they mean for the country's future?
Oh, it means, you know, we should be producing in excess of 6 million barrels a day. So it put us among the third, fourth largest producer in the world, massive exporter.
Bit of a shock then when 4 of the 5 fields were shut down after proving to be little more than duds.
Lesson number 7, the China factor.
And Brazil has the size to match China's appetite.
You have
it's a big
everything.
dragon on the other side.
You have everything they need.
We have, yes. You need the Brazil to basically fulfill the Chinese needs.
Batista, who has interests in mining, transportation, and oil and gas, is building a huge superport complex north of Rio with Chinese investment that will accommodate the world's largest tankers and speed delivery of iron ore and other resources to Asia.
Lesson number 8, BRIC Woes. BRICS are Brazil, Russia, India, and China.
President-elect Dilma joked that the oil discoveries were just the latest proof that God is Brazilian. An economist from Goldman Sachs, no less, had predicted that Brazil, along with Russia, China, and India, will dominate the world economy in the 21st century.
Do you remember these protests earlier in the year? They really showed how people felt the last decade of economic growth had just been wasted, with little investment in infrastructure and in education. Go back to 2010, Brazil's economy expanded 7.5%, thanks in large part to foreign investors and a credit and consumption boom. But now, according to the IMF, the economy is barely eking out 2.5% growth. That's this and next year. And the central bank has stepped in to raise interest rates, trying to tame inflation.
Pay off an estimated $4 to $5 billion in debt to creditors and banks. The company has filed for bankruptcy protection Analysts say it's one of the largest bankruptcy filings ever in South America.
He was the 7th richest man in the world, but it really was a largely paper fortune. I mean, he managed to raise a lot of money from people, but he put all that money back into the companies.
Batista's oil and gas company, OGX, filed for bankruptcy protection, the largest in Latin America. But this isn't just about one man's fortune, it's also about a one-time BRIC darling that's in the midst of its own economic woes.
Lesson number 9. He did not diversify. Mining does poorly during a recession. For example, during a recession, beer does a lot better than oil. I have already covered 2 beer self-made billionaires, fellow Brazilian Jorge Paulo Lemann. Episode 20, he owns Budweiser and Miller. And also Charoen Shiranapaki of Thailand. Episode 123, he owns Chang Beer. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your comments and questions below. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.